I am continuing my hickory production. I'm not going to go crazy with it right now. I'm just going to make enough because I know I'll have another restaurant in the next few weeks calling me for a half a cord. They are also an electric smoker. They're not fussy about the moisture content. I had some small logs, and I've always said the 405 is kind of a cold-hearted machine. It takes a while for it to warm up. So I just ran I always start off with some smaller logs. It just seems to cut better, get it warmed up. I think it's okay, but these are very nice hickory logs. I have never had logs like this in hickory. Where are they at? Here we go. These are pretty straight. This one here will give me a little bit of a problem because it is right up against the 16-inch max, and it has a little bit of a bend to it here, this way, and it doesn't take much to fill up the infeed on these machines, but they are looking pretty nice. Let me get you some tape measuring here. Okay, and this one is right on 16, right there. So that's going to be close, and this is the one with the bend. So I don't know, this one might give me some trouble. I did trim off a knot, which might make it even more problematic because we have this little bit, and man, it doesn't take much. When you are up against the max, all it takes is just an itty bitty piece like that, and it can ruin your entire run. The infeed, you can see some problems it had over the years where it's been up against the max and some of the knots get hit there, but you got to use the PV to get it to turn right, and you can get it to go through. So I thought for this video, why not? Let's just run these two big logs and let's see how it goes. My biggest concern was the chain, because this chain's got some mileage on it, and hickory's pretty tough wood, but we'll see how it cuts. I'm confident the splitting will go okay. And I think, though, my biggest fear is going to be getting it to go in. That'll be kind of fun. Here we go. Right up against it. a knot. I'm going to put the knot at 12 o'clock. So I'll just knot it myself. Run it through like this. This is the last piece. So this is a flush cut. This one is kind of on an angle, and with such a big log, the ram could push this through a little crooked. So I'm going to spin this around and make this go through the knife first. That'll be a much nicer split. Crooked and it's pushed up against here, but we got a lot of space on this side. I just got to reposition it, and I think it'll go through okay. This is going to go. That's what happens. You see, we are just about a 1/4 of an inch too much material right here. And this is going to go, we were all the way up against it on this side. This knot is just going to give us a little trouble. So I'm going to get my saw and just trim this off a little bit, and I think we'll be in good shape. I spared you the excitement with the chainsaw, but I got this trimmed up. We are right up against it. I still don't know if it'll go in, but we'll give it a shot. hot at 12 o'clock. We're going to have an offcut, so we're going to measure the back of it to number 4, which is my 16-inch mark. So that means our offcut will be on the front. The interesting thing to me is how much wood is in big logs. I know that sounds weird to say, but I don't get big logs like that here in this part of the country. These bigger logs usually go up to middle field because they're worth way more money than they are in firewood. But I recall these logs came in last winter, and I think it was when during a slow time of the season up at middle field. They weren't buying these logs as much. And I think it was just convenient for him to bring these here. I have never seen a hickory log that big before, and straight, you know, as a nice looking log. I felt it was an opportunity because there's probably never been a Japa on YouTube running a log like that. So that's hard, tough, North American hardwood hickory. It's about as tough as you can get. And you see the challenges. Even when it's just skimming here, most other trees, the bark would have peeled off, but not hickory. It's just tough, and it was unyielding. So I had to keep trimming it off just to get it to go. But that is what happens when you have a big log. Man, it is nice when they're straight, but if there is any crook to it, it will give you headaches. That, believe it or not, wasn't that bad. I've had a lot worse, but I think, you know, from a previous video that I had done on running crooked logs to this, the moment you run a challenging log, you've just become a better operator. And I've been doing this now for, what do you think, 3-ish years, and I've had some easy logs and some tough ones. And after a while, you just can tell where trouble's coming your way, and you do what you can to avoid it. I thought I was going to go through before I had to get the saw out again, but I misjudged on that. But it's just minor surgery, and you just zip it off and you keep going. Okay, guys, I hope you like this, a different look, seeing a challenging, a tough hardwood like hickory, going through a 405 and making awesome firewood. And man, you see how fast it makes this compared, with a chainsaw and a splitter. And your elbow does get a little sore working that joystick. I'm saying it's not all fun and games. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching the 405 run 2 14 to 16 inch hickory logs. And I handled it well. Everyone have a great day.